Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show. We are working on our Game Jam game, and it's going pretty well. It's hard to tell how it's going. I feel like we're progressing pretty well, but I think I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because we don't have that many mechanics fully integrated into the game. Only like esoteric representations of the mechanics. So this episode, we're going to really try and focus on that. This is what the game actually looks like, which is almost nothing to say. Let's pull this up on the screen here. So this is the game. You can see the time of day, which we can advance. You can see the this is the like a dialogue text prompt thing, and then we can generate a card and level up that card. And that's all that we have. But having said that, let's actually switch this back to a Windows export. Having said that, we spent the last episode, and I also spent a little bit of time after the show creating some concept designs for what the UI should look like, and really just hammering out what mechanics we need by making the UI, trying to hammer out what mechanics we need. So the game hopefully will look like this, where you have a giant timer that shows you how much time you have left until the end of the game. The game takes place over the course of 2 weeks. It's a day, midday, afternoon, or rather morning, noon, evening, and night cycle. It tells you where you are. It tells you your level. There's two major levels of stats. There's the performance rating, and there's the deck of cards that you have, which comprise the story points that you're collecting. The game is about the Greek poet Homer trying to write the Odyssey, so you're collecting story points. So this is our dialogue screen. This is our screen where you get a card, like a randomly generated card. This is a modified dialogue screen in which you level up a trait. This is our thing where you level up a card. This is where you choose what you're going to do, like level up a trait or a card or whatever. This is where you level up a different trait, I guess. I don't know why I did both of those. This is now in the performance section, and you can see the day-night cycles changing, the locations changing. I'm trying to change all this stuff. So now this is, I did this after the show. We didn't do this during the episode, but basically, this would display or represent the performance of Homer reciting his poem to people. So performance progress bar, this would go up as you, each of these would be generated based on how many story points you have. And I was thinking that I was going to do this where like one of them is always here and one of them is always here. And then it would like generate something, array them out, like equally distributed. But I think I'll just make it easier on myself and, put each one a set distance away. I don't know what happens if there's too many of them. Maybe it'll go to a second line or something. It's a game jam game. Then we have the information about what he is going to say. So this would show, basically the performance would show in this order. You have the opening intro thing. You have the performance would start at the first little tick box here. This is like halfway through. It would say what's going to play. So Cyclops Cave is one of the cards we have. This is the description of the card. It would give you time to read it. And I think the text would build out on screen like that. So you really do have time to read it. And then Homer would recite the lines. And this would potentially be multiple text boxes showing up of, like this scene, for example, has 3 text moments. Then at the end, you can see the audience engagement meter. This would be based on a multiplier that takes into account your performance, the level of your cards, and the level of the cards and performance in order. So like if there's too many bad cards in a row, it's a multiplier downwards, basically. And stuff like that. So like the pacing of the poem is also important. this is all in my head. I don't know yet how we're going to implement this stuff. And then this is the ratings. So you'd get like a percentage rating of how well you did. I just eyeballed that for 29%. I don't know what that really, what that bar really is. And then these 4 things I thought would be fun, which is behind the scenes, if there were like people, if behind the scenes it was keeping track of your performance rating or of your, this or that rating, then we would be able to generate like user reviews. So we would basically, I would write just a bunch of these, and things like this where they call out a specific part of the poem these would just be based on variables. But then these would be like 4 reviews of your play or of your poem after you finish the performance. And then this would hopefully inform you. I was kind of inspired by the game, The Movies, which we played on stream. And I've always loved since I was a kid about, making movies from the silent era to the modern era. And they always had like critic reviews at the end of every movie that you made. And you could use that to kind of like influence what you do next with your next movie. So this would help you to kind of like give you hints of what you should level up in the next day. So that's every mechanic in the game. All of the performances would look the same as this. A lot of these things can be static objects, like for example the UI. These parts of the UI would never have to change, so I don't think we would actually have to generate them. It might be worth doing either way. I don't know yet, but I think that we could just in Photoshop make these a lot of these things and keep going. I also think we don't really have to worry too much about, like, I was gonna make like a 9 slice that looked really nice with the edges here, but I kind of like the way it looks. I'm fine with it. So I think we're pretty much good to go on like visually setting up the game, but we don't want to actually add this stuff now. That we're just setting that up so that I could like visualize what I'm shooting for and kind of like eliminate any question marks with like, oh, how am I going to represent the performance thing? Like, or can I represent it? And if so, if I do need to represent that, I need a mechanic to do it. So, like basically keeping myself honest of like, I'm not just keeping this in my head. These are what these look like, and we're shooting for this. So having said that, now we work on adding all of these things to the game. So first of all, let's just do a real simple one, which is that let's say the game starts on day 1. So what we would want to do is basically, it doesn't really need to be an object like with the other stuff. So we could actually just control this by going in controller. We already have a time of day thing, but we don't have a day thing. So date 0. And I guess this would just be the same. I don't. You know what? Yeah, we don't need this to be an array. We can just have this be an actual variable. So day equals 0. And at the end of a certain, thing, that would switch. So basically, when would that switch? So let's say that it's always after the performance. No, it's not necessarily always after performance. It's always after whatever the last thing of the day is. So there might be like a scene after that. But I think it would always be scripted. It would either be the performance or it would be scripted. So we would just have to say that it happens at that time, that it would set day to be plus something, or, you know, whatever. And we should probably also set this as a negative number. It should be keeping track of days to go. So let's say 14. It should probably start on 15, and then no, it should start on 14 because on the last day when there's 0 days to go, that's the night that you perform, but you don't want there to be a whole nother day after that. So days to go is 14. Let's say that like whatever we know is the next scene. So maybe we could actually set up kind of like the scenes that occur. So we have this, we have that. We figured out how to display this stuff without having to do this. So let's put this back. Actually, we're gonna do this. I've rewritten a lot of the dialogue to, I didn't actually shorten it. Let's take a look at the dialogue again, see where we can take some stuff out, if we want to take some stuff out. I don't know if like this would actually be a thing. It might actually be fun if there were like title cards in the game, which we could probably do pretty easily. The 9th annual adventure poem jam is one thing that we added. Let's read out the thing, and hopefully that'll kind of expose any problems with the screenplay. We can always change them later. They're just string variables. Invocation. Let's call this prologue. Invocation. Sing to me, O muse, of that ingenious man who gifted the West with his song. Manifold cities and nations did his words reach, though his eyes were shrouded in eternal night. Yes, this many-voiced bard Homer was destined for great things, but he had not always such renown. Before you made yourself known to this blind storyteller, O muse, there was a spark, which competition fanned into a flame. Chapter 1, Homer's Revelation. Maybe it'd say like scene 1. Maybe we'd call it book 1. That'd be interesting because the story is written in books. So we could call it book 1, Homer's Revelation. Hear ye, all storytellers and poets of Ionia. The 9th annual adventure poem jam begins tomorrow. Participants will have 12 days to tell a story of grand adventure, epic in scope. All those who wish to apply, see me at my podium. The plan. This would be the setting to set the room to. A door crashes open in a shack across town. Homer strides through into the room. I found it. Don't bother knocking. Found what? My ticket to fame, fortune, and a new glass eye. Glass eye? But you have 2 intact eyes right now. Yeah, but they're blind. And how would a glass eye change? Forget it. Wait, what was that about fame and fortune? The 9th annual Adventure Poem Jam. Orestes, this is my chance to finally get one of my poems heard. Well, you could be right. Hey, didn't you always want to do a story about Odysseus and the Trojan War? Yeah, but wouldn't that be too much subject matter to cover? I guess you're right. How about you drop the Trojan War stuff for now? It's perfect. What do you call it? Homer's Odyssey. It would say Homer's Odyssey, and then it would have like a beat, and then it would add this Odyssey. Okay, so what do you know about Odysseus? Not much. He got shot in the Achilles tendon, right? No, that was Achilles. Oh, all right. Some coincidence, huh? What are the odds he'd be shot in the same spot as his name? Oh, right. Odysseus is the one from Jason and the Argonauts. Let's put that not as a question. Close, but no, you're thinking of Jason and also of the Argonauts. Right. So you want to tell a story about the legend of Odysseus, but you don't know anything about him or his quest. I don't need to know anything about him. I have you. Me. You're roping me into this poetry slam with you. I can't write epic poetry to save my life. Jam. Poetry slams won't be invented for thousands of years. And yes, I do need your help. No one I know is smarter than you are. Well, I can't argue with the facts. Okay, I'll do it. Yes, with your knowledge of ancient heroes and my amazing writing, we'll be a perfect team. Come by my house anytime you need a few pointers about history or myth. I'll do my best to steer you in the right direction. For now, I'll give you something to start with. Try working this into your story. And then you get a random story card. We're just calling them cards at this point. I think that's, like, probably best. Whoa, this is amazing. Thanks. I call it a trading card. I can make one for you whenever you need ideas for your poem. I feel like I can visualize exactly how it looks just by touching it. That's because I designed it in Braille. I don't know what that is, but I love it. Can I get another one? Well, all right. You're lucky I have one more lying around. Usually each card takes me a few hours to design and manufacture. The printing press hasn't been invented yet, you know. And then the player gets another random story point. Oh man, I can't wait to incorporate these into my story. Well, then don't wait. I hear Cafe Xenia has been letting any poet come in and test their material out in front of an audience. Then it fades out and goes to first performance. Yeah, we'll change the title later. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and Geminis, welcome to Cafe Xenia. Don't forget to tip your waiters, and if you see a beggar come in off the street, do yourself a favor and buy him a cup of wine. It could save your life. Tonight we're featuring a poet who's new to the scene. Please welcome Hammer. Actually, it's quiet, kid, you're on. And then he does his performance of the two things that you just got, but they're both going to be level 1, so it'll be a very bad performance, guaranteed. Then the audience is grumbling, the verse is very sloppy, reviews come in and they're all negative. After first performance, let's call this reality check. I guess I didn't do too well, huh? The problem was the writing. Was that the best you could come up with? I think... Was that the best you could come up with? It was your idea to perform right after learning these 2 story points. Gods, I'm humiliated. Hey, don't be like that. You only have 2 weeks. You're going to need to get used to this feeling if you want to improve. Do as many performances as you can. Spend your days working on the poem. Come and see me if you need new ideas from the story of Odysseus. Otherwise, refine the text you have and practice your performing skills. These are the 3 most important things to any audience: story, polish, and performance. If any one of them is great, the crowd is more likely to overlook problems with the other 2. But don't rely on one skill so much that you neglect the others. It's a balance. Why can't I just write my story in my study and then turn in the manuscript? Do I need to perform it live? You know how to write? You got me there. Writing is all about telling stories out loud. The only way for people to remember your poem is to keep performing it and hope it catches on. But first, you need to come up with a story worth telling. For the next 2 weeks, spend each night at a club or cafe or anywhere they'll let you get on stage. Tell whatever story you've come up with so far to the best of your ability. You mean I have to endure this kind of abuse every night? Did you hear what they were saying about me as they walked out? Believe it or not, that's a good thing. If you really pay attention to what the audience is saying, you'll see where you need to improve. Which parts of your story were weakest? Maybe the whole poem is too short. Maybe you need to hone your public speaking. Bad reviews are your best friends. Don't ignore them. Cherish them and take them to heart. Homer heads back to his own house, ideas buzzing about his head. There's so much ground to cover. Where should he begin? He falls asleep and dreams of grand adventures. All kinds of things his blindness would prevent him from doing. But that doesn't mean he couldn't write an adventure all his own. Let's maybe say this. So the idea is it's an adventure game where you don't actually go on the adventure. It's where an adventure game where you're writing an adventure for a character that is not you, which I think is kind of a fun idea. So that would be the screenplay for the opening of the game. Let's try and add in. I got my new mouse, by the way. The scroll wheel thankfully works. That's very big relief. So, okay, scene 0. The first thing that we would do is we would hit the screen with a black. We hit the screen with black and then set a timer. Can we draw or like draw GUI maybe? Draw. Honestly, it's probably best to just add a black sprite, I guess, to the background. Just on top of everything. So then all of the mechanics actually still live in the background of the game. So at first, it would show instances transition. And I think that this could happen in scene controller because this is probably going to happen at the beginning of every scene. So at the create event of the scene, it is going to instance create layer. And then it's going to create something that we're going to call, oh, you know what? This is creating an object, not a sprite. How do we create a sprite? Let's just make it an object. Oh, black screen. So that'll be our first sprite that we make. Obviously, this is not the best way to do it. I'm sure there's a better way. Put this in a folder called, like, I don't know, effects. S black screen. Is it a good idea to make a sprite that's the size of the entire game? Probably not. All right, let's take 2 seconds to try to find out how to draw a set color. That's it. Easy. So we want to do this in the scene controller. So it's not this. Create event is equals 1. Or true, I guess. Draw GUI, and at the start of the room, if black screen equals true, the problem with this is that it's going to draw potentially above or below everything else because of how we are setting this up. Let's just do that for now. We're going to set it to red just so that we know that it's working. And it'll be this for like half a second. If black screen equals true and is above 0, is above 0, yeah. Else, this is actually wrong. So if black screen equals true and black screen is above 0, this, and then we can't say else if, because, or actually you can't. How do you remove a drawn color? Maybe you say draw set color to like none or no one. This is actually just setting the draw color for the sprites or for fonts and stuff. So what we need to do is make a rectangle. So all this stuff I don't want. Draw rectangle 0, 0. Room height. Room width false. So, okay, that did something. I don't know why. Oh, it's because of the alignment. Which is set to HA left and FA top. That should be right. Let's take a quick look at this before we worry about that part. So this stays on screen forever. It doesn't go away. Hold on. Okay. So what you need to say is else black screen equals false. That was what we were missing. Not to mention the part where it doesn't fill the screen. So that's also not correct. So maybe say I can't see anything. Just get rid of this part. Oh, I set the wrong thing. Oh, this is not visible because it should be at like 40 or 80. It's set to 1. All right, well, let's just call this a wash for now. We're going to get rid of the black screen stuff. It's not really important for what we're doing. So this code we can use in everything. This should also be, I would have thought, in the scene controller. Key press shift. Do all this. And then that. And so that variable would probably be here, I guess. Equals okay. Now this should inherit into the other thing. So one would think that this would then, let's delete this. One would think that this too also applies here, because it's inherited into the event. So the event itself is doing what this says to do. Now the problem actually might be with putting page in this. Although no, it's also not true because that's also inherited. Let's comment this out. We're going to comment this out. And we're going to comment this out so that there's no other button presses to do except for this. What's this? Forget the instances transition. This is called scene 00 prologue. Okay. So if we play the game, what happens? Nothing. Dialogue not set before reading it. oController.dialog. Where am I seeing this? Draw GUI? We're gonna have to check it again. Okay. Variable scene oController.dialog, not oController. Okay, so dialog is here. Draw GUI. So this needs to have the things set, and then the other thing, okay, let's take a look at this. So what's dialog set to here? 0, 1, 2. I guess it does have to be not in the scene controller. Dialog null. And then once it is inherited in these, maybe you could say so it's basically like putting something in OScene controller, and then this would be, huh? Oh. Okay, and then this would be dialogue null. And this is just going to exist in order to let it run. I think it should work. Oh, it didn't work. Variable sc prologue dot dialogue not set before reading it. Let's take a look. Maybe this has to go after. Nope. Maybe just put this in the step event. Nope. Okay, well, it would just be cleaner if you could do that, but it still would work. We should put this in here. I just don't know how to get this to carry over if it's reading an array from another object or whatever it is. How can it not be set before reading it though? Because let's just forget this for a minute. We can always make it better later. Now what's it inheriting here? We need to put this back in here. What is the key that we're pressing here? O controller dot action is VK enter. Oh, well, the problem is that there's actually no dialogue in the game yet. So let's do that. Put this back on this screen. I don't know if that's going to create a line break. Probably will. Okay. And then after it's done, nothing actually happens. So, right, there's nothing here. If keyword check this, if page length is less than dialog -1, page plus, else, this is where we had some trouble before. Instance create layer. Scene this. So, okay. What if we did something like this, where it's like, well, that's going to count up in terms of scenes. So let's just write a really quick script that said like, var I = 1. Instance create layer, O scene. And I = 1. Just make this not have an underscore. I minus. So that should make it so that, or is it minus? I think it's minus. Scene number reference. Right. And we basically would do this every time. And it would basically say also instance destroy O scene controller. That doesn't seem right. Because that's going to, it's calling it from itself, so that wouldn't make any sense. All right, well, let's just forget that for now. Equals 0. If this equals 1, then create this. And then instance destroy the preceding scene. It's actually going to need to change next time, but that's okay. Unassigned variable scene number referenced. Do I not have that set yet? I think it was in controller. Nope. Okay, so this should actually now not need to be in the room. It should create it. No, hold on. We need first to have this in the step event. And I think now this would run that. Okay, instance destroy is a read-only function. Assignment operator expected. This is scene pro. It doesn't actually need to destroy from this either. Expected this, got this. We're missing something. If this. Unable to find any instance for object index 1 OSINT controller. Okay. I guess we just put this. Nope. Instance create layer argument expecting a number. Oh, yeah, I totally didn't do that right. So it doesn't remove the text. It did start the scene based on this, though. Does this work even if we don't have it? No. So it has to run this script. Scene number is 0. Oh, it's saying, okay, it's changing the scene immediately if spacebar is, if keyboard check is not. Oh, no, wait. No. If keyboard check pressed enter, if the page is less than the array length, page is always 0 when this is created, then add one page. Else, let's just say else if it's equal to this, then add one to the scene number. What's going on here? Got this, expected this. Oh. I deleted a parentheses. Nope. So it's something about the script for the scene changes. Oh, wait, I know it. It's saying, first of all, if I equals 0, which it doesn't. So why does it even... I don't know. Now it's saying also if scene number is 0, so that's screwed up. And this is also wrong because when you change the scene, it needs to set the variable back to 1. So this would now, I guess, work, and nope, it still overwrites it, but it does delete itself somehow. What is it writing onto the screen? I can't tell. Okay, it is writing the second line. Man, I can't tell now. Okay, we don't, first of all, need this anymore. Card 1, 2, 3, that's debug stuff. We also don't need this stuff. Let's instead have it write the value of the scene number and we're also going to get it to write the value of page. This is strange. The scene number is being like weirdly multiplied. Scene number 0. Ah, I get it. So you need to come up with a way to what if you did this? So that kills it at 99. So why would it write more than one thing to the screen? It's probably that it's writing more than one instance. Let's get an instance count. There should be 1, 2, 3 things in the room. Yeah, look at that. And that's why the number was going up so high. So it's writing at every frame. So my idea for the I minus whatever doesn't work. And I get why, I suppose. Let's say the timer equals 1. Okay. This timer should exist in the scene controller. But now the next time that this happens, it will not do it. Or rather, it shouldn't, so... Oh, I get it, because before it was setting this in a step event. So this would then set it to 0. And then all we gotta do is when the scene is about to destroy itself. So let's put this back. They seem to be fine to destroy themselves. We don't need to tell it to do that here. But what we do want to do is say scene controller scene number plus plus o scene controller dot timer plus plus, and that would go first. Actually, it doesn't matter because it's the same frame. What's the number again? Oh, scene timer. .I, not set before reading it. Where's that? Ah. Oh, I hit the insert key? Oh, then this I minus minus, so. Okay, that's good. Now it's switched to the second scene. Now we have scenes. So that took us an insane amount of time to figure out. And it's also still really inefficient, but at least it works. Oh man, okay. So that's good, I guess. Let's I guess we can add the rest of the scenes. I don't know. Thank you to Samuel22212 for the follow. And welcome in. We're going to add these. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing with this, but we'll go one step at a time here. So, array length, parentheses. We would just need to have something. I think we can figure this out. This would make things a lot easier for us. But we'll fix it later. 2.0. This is plan. So the thing would actually be called dialogue even when it's scene direction, because there's really no difference between those things in our game. So we're just gonna, again, I don't know a better way to do this, so here goes nothing. Man, this is very like inefficient. Okay, so 1, 2, so it'd be 3, 4, 5. There's never going to be that much dialogue per scene that this could really cause us a problem, and that's most of the things we're doing here is like, yeah, they're really inefficient, but I don't think like the game is set up in such a way that we don't need to figure out a better way to do this. And so what we do have to do in all of these actually is to take these characters and do a find and replace. This doesn't have it. This doesn't seem to have it. Okay. So the plan will definitely have it. And all we got to do now is add the dialogue in order. This is 8, this is 9, 10. Okay. And I think that at this point, it would cut to a scene that just displays the title card of the game. So I guess technically this is the next scene. So let's copy in my document here. 0030. Homer's Odyssey's Odyssey. What kind of a thing is this? Number 2? Yeah. And then immediately, I guess immediately it goes to the next scene. Can't hurt to have more scene changes, I guess. Actually, no, because the rest of this dialogue would then just be a part of this. So we have this stuff. All the code should still work the same way. It's not like thing specific. And we go to our scene changes, and we'll just make one more of this for scene 2. And then for this, we would generate scene 20. It's once again, it's base 10 numbering system. So like 0020 means 002.0. In case we ever had to add a scene between, it would account for that. What am I missing here? I don't know what that is. There's nothing different here. Oh, wait a second. Got end parentheses, expected end parentheses. Okay. Oh, okay. That is correct, what it just said. So now we'll just see if it runs through the 3 opening scenes. We could see the scenes here, but it actually doesn't spawn the 3rd one. And that is because why? Dialogue 0 should be exactly the same. It's probably in the scene changes thing. If scene number is 2, oh, that's why. The one thing that's really pretty rough here is that if we do not set this then it ruins the whole game. It's like a game-breaking bug. And again, I wish I could figure out how to get that to work in the parent object. Okay, that's what happens then when you do not fix the apostrophes. Donut bother knocking. Okay, it's good to know. I did forget to find and replace for this. At least it's very visible. So that's good. Is it not finding it? It doesn't let me find and replace. Okay, now there are more of these. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Replace that with this type of apostrophe. It's showing this, but it doesn't actually... Okay, so it knows that they're there. But it doesn't actually replace them. It just replaced that one. Why? Selection only? No. So it knows where they are. There it goes. I don't know what this... Oh, this is saying select. I thought this is very confusing. I thought this was a checkbox for find and replace, but it's actually a checkbox for the thing to the right of it. Very weird. Okay, the apostrophes look fine. Now it cuts to the game's title screen. And now we're basically figuring out how to do this, and then we're going to cut this from the game for a while because we just want to figure out how to do the mechanics. But at least, if nothing else, we'll have some kind of weird like visual novel with no gameplay. A visual novel that involves no game aspects at all. But at least we will have made something. Oops. Let's duplicate this. This is going to be 0030. And this will be called title card. And you know what? We are going to make these different scenes. The title card will be controlled by something else just in case. I suppose that also the... no, we're not going to mess with it. We might mess with it. I think book 1 would actually be what happens after the title card. So this will be called, you know... something like, it would really be nice if we could incorporate some kind of like concepts from the actual Homeric text. So let's say like, yeah, see that this is where it becomes a waste of time, because we can come up with this later and not have to like come up with a perfect thing now. So this is going to be just like, forming the team, it's going to be called. And now I got to just change the numbers on some of these other ones. This would be a good time to use my base 10 thing, but we haven't put it in the game yet, so it doesn't matter. Form team. So title card is just going to have one piece of quote unquote dialogue. But we're going to override the draw GUI here. Homer's Odyssey's Odyssey. And we actually have more than one font, so we'll just use this one. And we'll make a new one for black. F05. No, we don't want this because we're probably going to have a special logo anyway, so there's no point in making this. Title card, draw GUI. Draw set font, F04 uni black. And then same thing with this, it has to do this or it won't work. Does it? Yeah. And then this, form team. And now we just have to do this again. So instead of deleting and then remaking these, we'll just actually do this. And one thing that could be pretty useful, I'm going to actually do something I think is a brilliant idea. Let's see if it works. That's always the question, isn't it? We created another controller called dialog template. Oh, it's in alphabetical. So delete everything off of here. Not this. It would basically have like a dozen lines of dialogue, possibly even more. So can it, the other thing is, can a thing have more than one parent? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so, but you can have a thing I don't think this is necessary. It's not, we're not doing the dialogue there's not enough of it to warrant this. I was going to basically set a thing that had commented out, you know, a dozen of these, so then we could just turn them on when we wanted them, and we could turn on the amount that we wanted. But again, it's like really, it's not worth it. And basically these scenes, in addition to having dialogue, they would also tell you where you are. Okay, so first we want to add more of these. Okay. Now, for this, we would have to set some kind of special thing because you're progressing the dialogue, but then it introduces a card. So this one would say array length. And let's actually just duplicate this, I guess, so that we would have, I don't know. Array length 15. And so we would set this to is less than 15. We'll leave this as -1 actually. Then page plus plus. Else yeah, actually do duplicate this, and we'll comment this out for now. Else we want to instance create layer of card get screen. And this would basically like we would have to take this out of here. We would say if page equals, oh, this actually is not necessary, equals dialog1 max minus 1 is less than dialog1 max minus 1. Page equals dialog1 max so dialog1 max would be, this is actually not a string. This would be like something called like card get screen. Maybe we could do that. So this is wrong, actually. Page equals 16, it would be. We don't need this actually. Create layer card get screen once. So I don't know. We would have to set something. We would probably set it in the create event. It would not be in this, which is a particular scene. It would probably be in the controller. And this would be setting time to 0, I guess. No, it can't use the same thing. It would have to be card spawn limit equals, I thought this was supposed to be set to 1 actually. Yeah, scene timer equals 1. So for this, it would say this, and then integrate card get screen, dialog max, and controller dot this equals 1. Then do this once, and then dot this minus minus, and it does that once, so it's then going to be 0. Why does this have a thing? O card get screen. Right. So now we need to make O card get screen. O card get screen. And let's first just say draw GUI, draw text, card get before we do anything else. Instance create layer, O card get screen. Create that once. And then if you press enter, it would not be on this, but rather so this, it would be here, and it would be if instance exists, of this object, and keyboard check, press enter, then keep going with the pages. O card get screen, and then same thing with this, but this would be not dialog max, but rather dialog. And it would keep going. Let's just see what happens. Something's probably wrong with this code right now, but we'll keep going. This would show the title of the game, which it doesn't do. That's because the script does not have, yeah. Okay, well, it's nice to know that that it works as advertised. Okay, 3 and 4. So I basically just have to like manually add these, which is kind of annoying, but again, I don't think there's gonna be that many scripted scenes that we really need to worry too much about it. This is title card. This one will be 004. I don't know why I copy pasted that. Okay, number 4, number 3. Good. Still doesn't work. Wait, it's not setting the scene timer? Why does that keep getting removed? Also, why am I setting it? Hold on. Scene timer equals 1. Just for safety's sake. This is another reason why, let's all say it together, we should be using a parent object. But I just can't figure it out. Okay, this doesn't have an ending yet. It's just gonna crash or freeze when it gets to the end so far, but that's fine. Homer's Odyssey's Odyssey. Oh, right, I forgot to get rid of the apostrophes, so let's do that now. Characters for deletion. None of these. Delete all these. Oh, also these should be deleted or else they're gonna... Well, I guess they won't crash the game, but they won't let it progress. So let's just see what happens. We're not gonna restart it. Two. It says, where does that come into play? Is that this? Okay. Card get screen. This should draw text that says card get while it is existing. And card get screen should... What? Once it gets to 16, let's just leave this with a string as well. We'll do that. This is where this happens. So if page number equals dialog max, which is 16, and cards file limit equals 1, which it does. It should create a layer of this. Now this is going to draw the text either way. So there's already going to be one glitch here, but that's fine. Now the way to do this so we don't have to go through this every single time is we could set the scene to be whatever. So is that in here? Scene number equals 4. Now this should run the game starting from scene 4. Yep, that is very useful. Thank you, game. CANT, why is that happening? CANT. Did something here happen where it deleted instead of YOURE? it deleted instead of... Okay, so that's a problem. We're going to have to re-enter all this text. So it got to this and did not spawn the card thing. Let's say card gets screen and we're going to add a sprite to it. Not import, we're just going to edit. Very nice. We're not going to do a draw GUI. And it should spawn this, which is aligned to top left. So it'll be visible on screen. It's going to spawn it at 0, 0. Ah. I did this again. How do I always do this? It's weird that it doesn't catch it either. So let's open this also as HTML. That's not right. HTML5. We want to just make sure that this works. So that didn't spawn anything either. Okay. What are these again? We're drawing scene number, page, and an instance count. So we should actually set this again. Strangely, page does not go up. Instance count is 3, and it's still 3. So number one, oController.page, hold on. Is that right? It should be OScene controller. Oh, it is. Equals 0. Script scene changes. What about if we put we're going to rerun this. We're going to put something like down here. Okay, here, I guess. This is running the page, but for some reason it shows up as the first thing is botched somehow. And so this gets to page 17. Why does that show up like that also? And why can't this display the correct thing? Multiple questions here. Let's see the instance count again. It gets to 17, so just for the sake of what we're doing here, I don't know what's going on with the page display, but that's fine. If page 1 equals dialogue 1 max, and we'll just set that to 15. Or, wait a second. Should be this, I think. Now this does not actually do anything. Oh. Yeah, it was like an unreadable command, what it just did. So now it can't get to 16. So somehow it was going past and then it was going not up to it. So now it'll add 1 page to get to 16. Let's just get rid of this for a second. We'll just let it spawn a billion things. It skipped right over 16. That's a weird one. Page is greater than dialogue 1 max minus 1. How about that? It's basically like if it is greater than 15. Now it has spawned this and it is creating a million of this. So let's get rid of that. For some reason this worked. Now we'll do damn, what was it again? Spawn limit. Oh, okay, yeah, it wasn't here. It was this. Dialog max minus 1 and O controller dot card spawn limit equals 1. So it's just going to make 1 card. Then we press enter and it will delete the card. Okay, now it has botched it again. So somehow it is not, it's related to this. Hold on. Okay, so I think it is this. If instance now exists of the oCarget screen, and you press enter, let's just say this, and O controller dot card spawn limit equals 0. Because it's probably saying, I don't know, let's just see what happens. Goes straight to 17 again. How could this be true? Oh, you know, because spawn limit, no. Well, what if we said put this all behind here? Else, it's not greater than dialog max. Else if page, or whatever, just say else, and do these. That has now spawned it, and it's making a new one every frame, but it is spawning it because it's saying it's not lower than dialog max, therefore you should do this every time I press enter. Else if it equals this. But also once you press enter, first of all, create the layer. Is greater than dialog. If it's this, then keep going up on the pages. I don't honestly know why it's not creating more than one of it. Here it is, and it's also not, or rather, it's not creating more than one unless we press enter. Why are there two of these? Instance destroy this. Script form team event step line 40. Oh. That is probably related to a messed up bracket somewhere. That's because this should be here. So now it deleted that and keeps going. Strangely, however, it goes one further than the dialogue. Now it will not go up. So we actually don't want this to have anything. But it's going to draw this either way. Can we just do that? That's not going to display now, but it will display once it becomes a thing. So now it drew at 17. So let's just do that. Fine. And then 18 would be when the dialogue starts back up. So that's after something to start with. So now we can at least see if it keeps going after it spawns the card. Okay. It shouldn't need to have two of these like this. Let's just lean into it. Done. So now it would be like you get to that dialogue. Oh, it keeps spawning on this screen. You get to that dialogue. Then it spawns it. Then you go. Or let's say this. Because we want this, you gained me would imply that it would happen after the card is given to you. And we would basically, this could be pretty easy too, because you would just say if page does not equal 17, then do it. Easy. Yeah, so it did not draw the text which we had written. That is good. That's exactly right. That THATS. So this is getting screwed up too. Let's take a look. Apostrophe S. But this is not showing up because of a different reason, which is yeah. So we're just gonna do this now so we don't forget. We just have to replace every instance here with the same text again, but it's going to respawn the original writing. HE''D. Yep, that's in there. We're even going to do it for the ones that don't seem like they need it, just so that we don't miss anything. Whoops. Oh, I skipped right over that, huh? Okay, now we're going to grab the characters for deletion, which is really just going to be the, oh no, this is in there. So we got to be careful that we actually write in a quote, otherwise it will not work. It will delete the stuff instead of just doing what we want. Yep, so it's showing that. This all looks good. I actually want to run this again. I want to see what the colon looks like. I didn't like pay attention to that part. Okay, I missed it again. We don't really need the colon. We could just make it a different punctuation. It does work, but it kind of reads as a line. What font are we using? Where am I setting the font? It's probably an O controller, I guess. Okay, so it's the uni regular. So we're just gonna make this a full stop because yes, it technically looks like a colon if you really look at it, but it's not, it's not worth making the confusion. Oh, I missed it again. Yep, that was a full stop. Good. Okay, so that's good. Now we want to do the card get screen. So card get screen is going to be controlled by, basically, we're going to need to write an array Easy. We don't need to write an array, actually. What's card controller have in it? Nothing. What does controller have in it? This has the thing about the cards. I don't understand why this is in here. Let's put that in card controller. I think that's why I created it. So let's say card 1, 2, 3 equals no one. We're basically going to keep saying if the choose of, and then it's going to choose between every card in the game, does not equal card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which equals the cards that you have in your collection, then you're spinning the dice here. Rolling the, well, I guess dice do spin, but you're rolling the dice. Otherwise, you do it again, and then, you keep doing it. Card controller. When this thing, okay, this is always existing, but the card gets screen, also the only time you'll ever get a card, so this is easy. When it's created, choose. For now, we can just say I think we need to do a for or a with statement. You basically want to do a loop that keeps saying, try to get a new card until you do get one, and then you write that to card 4. Let's say 4, and we're going to look this up on the GameMaker manual. Maybe it's while or do until. repeat with, it's one of these. Because the for loop is for a fixed number of times. Here we go, this is it. This is it. While place meeting. Yep. This has to be in a step event, I assume. Equal, or wait, choose whatever, like, do we have a script for the cards? Yeah. C1, C2, C3. Card gets screen. Well, I'll choose between these equals card let's just say card 1 for now. We have to figure out how to do this. But we're just going to say while that, then keep choosing this basically until it does not equal card 1. And then you would say, this is only going to work for the first card, but basically you'd say, you say while and else? Is that a real thing? I don't think while and else go together. So we would say this, and then it's not this, but you would basically say, If it doesn't equal card 1, wait. And now this would then say if card 2, I don't know, then break it. So then the card get screen should actually show a draw GUI. And we'll just do this. You got undefined. Ah, that's because card 1 is not defined. Also, okay, several things. It has to be O card controller dot, first of all. Also, let's just set this to C1 for now. Okay, it showed something, but it was only in 1 frame, so it was like impossible to see. I can't see it. Damn. Well, let's try and figure out why it's doing that thing first. It's probably stuck in a while loop. How about this then? Okay. This is good, actually. You would basically say every step, you would say temp card equals choose between these. If temp card is equal to O card controller dot card 1, this is all good, but we have to also say this. If this is happening, then timer is equal to 0. And we're going to make a thing here called timer. Card check timer, I think. And then if temp card is equal to card 1, or not equal rather, to card 1, then temp card is equal to then card 2. O card controller dot card 2. So we're basically doing a thing where we're saying like keep checking this until you get one that is not already equal to that. I always forget these. Did it again. So draw text, you got card 2. Is it that the event is deleting, or is it that... Let's take a look. What does it say here? It's taking all of the text away. There's something about having multiple objects in the room, I guess. Let's just put it in the controller. No, it happened again. Still says you got undefined. The value it should give is this. So C1 is going to give a object. The value of card 2. Oh, wait a second. O card controller. The biggest issue is that it's deleting itself without our wanting to delete it. Now this did not show anything. And it is once again deleting everything. And the problem with this, I think, is that okay. The issue with this is that a with or while or whatever statement happens multiple times within one frame. But this is actually taking multiple frames to check. So we need to come up with a way to figure out what card to take in a single frame. And it could be as simple as writing to a list. This is now, once again, we're back with arrays. What if the card object exists in the game all the time? Then, if that was the case, all you'd have to do is check that it does, hold on. No, that doesn't work because there has to be a list that is being written to, but I just don't know how to do that. So we would probably want to go through some tutorials. Hmm.
We're a REIT that has achieved a 12% annualized return distributed monthly.
Hello.
Okay, we're gonna watch somebody's video. Once again, this is not my content. This is this person, Maxim Posthument's content. Although I think I'm gonna get something to eat. I haven't eaten since lunch, and it is now midnight. So let's call it a show for now, and maybe I'll watch this video while I eat, or we'll watch it on the show. We're in a good spot. We have the main functionality of as of now, the game is basically a visual novel. It doesn't have any functionality of the mechanics of collecting the cards. It doesn't have the functionality of passing the days, and leveling up the cards, but it does have functionality where you move from screen to screen and from dialogue point to dialogue point, and that's pretty good. So I'm happy about that. Now we, try to add the main mechanics, which are the cards, the leveling up of the cards. Let's see what we've done here. Ability to gain new cards, no. Cards collection, no. Draw a card you don't own, no. Die actions to the day-night cycle, no. Display the performances in the evening, yes, that is. We know rather what they look like. Design the look for the performance screen. Stats behind the scenes for the audience meters. How do we build the meter for performances? How do we display the cards in sequence? This we have. Okay. So we've done some stuff. How powerful the card is. I need to change the artwork to not have that in it as well. But yeah, so we basically right now have a visual novel and we want to turn it into a adventure game. So that's good. We're in a good spot with the art. That's pretty good too. And that'll do it for this episode. So thanks for joining, ladies and gents, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.